Vice President of Zambia. So I can still remember some of the things we talked about regarding trade. But I'm here basically to learn from you and you to learn from me. So please, if I do make any mistakes, that is the situation. I've been out of government now for about 4 years, so some things I've forgotten. Anyhow, without any further ado, Zambia is a landlocked country, and one of the problems that we have in accessing markets is that high input costs in everything we do, because we either have to import machinery through Dar es Salaam or South Africa or any other country for that matter. And therefore, we find that even having to sell to the outside world, we are outpriced by those neighbors who have got access to ports. So we do have quite a challenge there in finding reliable markets. We do also find that although we do own some valuable minerals such as copper, whose prices are quite high now, we're not getting as much as we should, for the reason that at one point these mines were owned by government, but through advice and pressure from our trading partners, these were privatized. And in order to attract privatization to the mines, we gave long tax breaks to those that bought the mines. Some cases, 10 years or 15 years. So really, we are not getting as much as we should be, because we don't own those mines anymore. We look back, we think it was a mistake to have sold, but the prices then at the time we sold were so low that at one stage it was costing the country $1 million a day to maintain. So selling them off was the best option at that time. Now the thought in Zambia is totally different. Others think that we shouldn't have, but of course these are already sold. My part of the world, times we are victims also of technology. Only 2 days ago, a country neighboring Zambia, but even after being fertilized and everything else being done, crops did come out. So it was a waste of fertilizer, a waste of energy, a waste of everything. And the matter is being discussed now with the company that provided the GMO seed. They have agreed to compensate, but compensation is not everything really in terms of food. So Zambia, to some extent, has had a bumper maize crop. So we're hoping now that we can sell to those neighbors who have faced a calamity as a result of technology that we need to understand. 82,000 hectares of maize has been affected, and that is quite a lot of maize running into millions of dollars. So these basically are the challenges that we face in selling to the outside world, that we are landlocked. Everything we do is done at a higher cost. If we were to sell anything agricultural from Zambia to, say, Tanzania, unless Tanzania or Malawi or any of our neighbors has had a drought or something like that, but we just cannot compete. At times, we cannot even compete with corn from Brazil. the time the coin comes to Dar es Salaam or Durban, then it has to be railed. And the rail facilities haven't been too good at all because there hasn't been any much investment. So they have to be trucked. Put them in trucks and using the roads. And at the end of the day, both roads get damaged and you have to repair them and things like that. So these are the challenges that we face in my part of the world. We've thought of asking for subsidies to those that we sell to, but they say, why should we subsidize if we can buy from your next door neighbor at a price that is competitive? So for that very reason, I'm saying that Zambia has a lot of maize. We don't know what to do with it. But diversifying the economy, we have a lot of hydro power in Zambia, and more hydro stations are being built because we believe then that we can. A good number of our neighbors do not have as much power as we do, or we could have if we developed all our sites. And therefore, money is being put into transmission lines and general generation power. In the hope that at least those countries that are also developing will need the power. So we have a ready market. Investment in power and the railways and whatever is being done mostly by local people in partnership with government. The system we call PPP is the private-public partnerships, or also individual Zambian people. But we find again that the people investing in power generation or even rails would like to get their returns almost within maybe 10 years or things like that. But these are long-term projects, break even perhaps up to 20 years or 25 years. And therefore, the excitement is there, but not to the extent that it is when it comes to selling items to Zambia and declaring dividends for repatriation to the owners of the money. So I think, if you allow me, I would stop there for now, and I'm available for further clarifications. I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Khalid. Those are fascinating remarks from experience, and I'm sure we can come back to that the way the time allow us. What would be very important is to get your views on how all these work measures, mechanisms do or not address the kind of challenges that very specifically you have identified in Zambia through your experience. So let me come back to you, perhaps after we finish here, with some of those reflections on those issues. Dr. Vanley.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Minister, Excellency, distinguished panelists, and ladies and gentlemen. First, I would like to thank the organizer for giving me this opportunity to be here. Well, let me start with the fact that share of LDC in world export in 1950 was more than 2.5%. Though it's increasing after mid-1950s, now it is slightly less than 1% in 2009. And such pattern of marginalization of LDC in all trade reflects first, lack of productive efficiency in LDC compared to the rest of world, and also high trade cost. And secondly, it reflects not so favorable old trading system. And here the question is, why do LDC suffer from low productivity and low share of trade? The reason might be most of the LDCs are small, isolated, and remote from high-income markets. And in fact, they suffer from connectivity gap. They face multiple and complex challenges, such as massive poverty and underdevelopment, lack of infrastructure, short of the skilled manpower, weak supply capabilities, low productivity, rudimentary technology, untapped economies of the scale, high vulnerability to external shock. I mean, these are the few to name. And in addition, most of the LDC are landlocked, like our Excellency Minister, former Vice President indicated, Zambia, and for that matter, Nepal, are landlocked. And more than, it's about 25% of the LDCs are landlocked. And the physical handicap of this landlockedness and associated cost is high transit cost. And it has undermined their international competitiveness, and it has further compounded the ability of LDC to produce competitively and also to trade. And in some of the countries, these problems are further aggravated by civil strife and conflict. In addition to these structural problems, LDC face external hurdles in the form of protected and subsidized market in developed countries, and also the stiff competition from new emerging economies. Here, one could pose a question: how can the WTO and do a round of negotiation can help LDC in improving their trade performance, in reducing poverty and achieving Millennium Development Goals? The answer could be by providing favorable market access conditions and by supporting LDC in building capacity to generate exportable surplus. Well, with regard to market access, given the fact that more than 1/4 of the manufactured exports of LDC face duty in developed countries, and the average tariff faced by final products is